Hello and welcome back to KXAN Plus. I am your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and if you're watching us live this Sunday, happy Sunday, and welcome back to Tommy's travel forecast. That was kind of a tongue twister, but with me to do this is our meteorologist, Tommy House. Tommy, how are you doing? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Cloudy and cool. How's your day so far?
Good, good. Coming off of a little illness last week, but
Yeah, same.
This weather's not helping, Tommy.
You know what? I will say the cooler temperatures are nice, but being outside in the rain, if you're on the mend from a cold like us, maybe it's not the best. But, a lot of people are super happy about this front that moved through yesterday.
Yeah.
It brought some of a flood risk locally here, but overall, things are winding down. Just a few more showers left today.
But it's not just here that's seeing a flood risk, right, Tommy? We're having flood risks across the country. We have some possible hurricanes coming out on the other side. It's a lot to talk about, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited to dive into it because, the past few times we've done this, Texas has been the main focal point of my travel forecast. A few more rounds of rain today, but we're entering a drier, cooler pattern here locally. That's not the case, though. For some, you'll see in the plains through the next few days, we'll have some action. So we'll dive right into it. We'll start with today's Storm Prediction Center outlook that highlights a level 1 out of 5 risk for many states, actually including the panhandle of Texas. This is from a front that's located in the Midwest. So you can think of the clockwise flow around the high that's producing some possible strong storms for many places from northern Texas through Oklahoma, western Kansas, and a little bit of eastern Colorado. Typical, that's what the darker green is, that level 1 out of 5 for severe, but much of the Four Corners all the way up to the Pacific Northwest through central southern Texas on the Gulf Coast itself, and then way out toward the southeast here, there actually is a little bit, that's an arrow I drew, but there is some storm risk down for places like Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas.
Wow, and it looks like this is going into tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so we have this today. These are some daytime heating storms. I think the overnight storm threat is fairly limited, which is, climatologically, we're not expecting any sort of big severe stuff, especially in September. But as I walk you through tomorrow, which is your Monday, notice that level 1 out of 5 continues for much of the central states, lasting on through the afternoon and evening hours. This includes Wichita, Kansas, Amarillo, Dodge City, Kansas, and then we have a general thunderstorm risk that's actually going to be continuing. We have a very slow-moving front. That same front that moved through here yesterday, I'm going to draw it out and show you, is going to position itself in southern Texas, but also bring in some rounds of some rain and some thunderstorm activity down toward portions of Florida itself. So I'm thinking of Miami, I'm thinking of Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Tampa, Orlando. If you're flying into that neck of the woods, we could be seeing day after day some strong to even severe storms.
Nice. And what about clouds? How are the clouds looking?
Oh, clouds. Very cloudy here. Today, more sunshine in Texas tomorrow. But let's play this actually out into Tuesday, and you'll see that this is a very similar setup here. Still seeing a general thunderstorm risk, although non-severe. That's what that lime green represents. Thankfully, beyond tomorrow, I don't see any sort of big severe weather makers lasting through most of the work week. Even at this time, overall, it's fairly quiet. Anything that's actually out and about at this moment, you're going to be looking down towards central Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say it's us.
It's us. See all the little lightning strikes there?
Yeah.
Let's see how many lightning strikes are captured in just Texas itself. 52 in just a 10-minute span. So certainly loud down towards San Antonio.
Time to take it in, right? Because it's not continuing through the week.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any sort of outdoor plans, pretty much tomorrow here locally through the weekend, we'll have that 7-day forecast coming up at 5 on KXAN, but today's just the day where the rain chance seems to be the most prominent. And then up and down the East Coast, Boston, New York City, down toward Florida, you're getting some active weather at this time. And Esme, yesterday through much of New England, we saw even some tornado warnings.
Wow.
So they're a little bit calmer today, still unsettled weather though for much of the East Coast I-95 corridor.
And would you say that some of this rain is a result of that previous hurricane that we just had? I think it's Hurricane Lorena.
Yeah, so Lorena had impacts through portions of the Baja California Peninsula. Some of that moisture did transport its way to Texas itself. More of the cold front, and then also moisture from the Gulf, kind of those three different components, Lorena, the remnants of Lorena, the tropical disturbance down in the down in the Gulf, and then the cold front is bringing some of the showers and storms that we've had here locally yesterday and today. You'll also notice the humidity, right?
Yeah.
The mugginess to the air. These are tropical downpours, slow moving in nature. But most of the Lone Star State north of Austin is just dealing with some cooler and cloudy weather today.
And when would you say that would end today? Is it going to continue throughout the night?
Great question.
Into
Yeah.
the morning?
I think toward the late evening into the early overnight hours as this front continues to move south, you'll notice with here clouds and radar walking you through. So this is right now, right around now, next hour or so. Through the evening, notice we sort of dry out. It's moving a little bit fast, but by tomorrow afternoon, where we're watching is much of the plains and the panhandle that could be seeing additional rounds of some thunderstorms. Circled there, that's where that marginal risk is continuing, even through much of Florida, all the way down toward Orlando, Tampa, Miami. That's where that heavy rain is going to continue day after day from the cold front moving through. Also at this time, we also are watching for a little bit more shower storm activity up toward the Pacific Northwest. But those two areas, the computer models are saying, hey, there could be some severe weather. But notice most of the country fairly dry at this point. And then Monday into Tuesday itself, still seeing some activity down in Florida, the Sunshine State, not so sunny. But, portions of the Midwest, the Southeast, going to be fairly manageable here. That also does include Texas. You'll see coming up at 5 o'clock, I have several days with highs in just the 80s here in Austin. So our normal high is 94 to 95, so cooler than normal is on the way.
Yeah. Well, would you say that any of these storms happening across the country could affect any travel plans as far as planes or anything like that?
I mean, if you're flying to Wichita, Kansas, maybe on the lookout. Flying to Florida, of course, lightning can ground flights, but shouldn't be a problem besides those two hot spots. Let's focus in real quick on the Florida impacts here. There's the front that's kicking up all the shower and storm activity. So central, southern Texas, numerous lightning strikes, but also down toward places like Miami, you're getting some strong thunderstorm activity at this time with some rounds of heavy rain up toward Jacksonville and then Brownsville, the valley, of course. This front will continue to slowly move south and keep those rain chants in play. Walking you through the next few days in Florida, from Jacksonville down the 95 corridor toward Miami, we'll continue to see more heavy rain followed by sunshine, heavy rain. Typical Florida pattern, but the front is going to be the trigger mechanism for some additional rounds of some shower and storm activity. How much rain is expected through the next 7 days? Esme, we're talking multiple inches, 4 inches plus for Miami, all the way up toward Jacksonville. And that can create, of course, some localized street flooding and maybe even some instances of flash flooding as well. They do have an excessive level 1 out of 4 flood risk for most of Florida that continues through the midweek.
And this is the only part of the country that is seeing this much flooding?
Yeah, this is the spot where we're talking about maybe up to a half a foot of rain in some isolated communities. Besides that little blip in the plains today and tomorrow, Florida is the area we have to watch for some of the heaviest rain through the work week.
Yeah, and we're talking a lot about rain and water and winds. Let's move on to talking about the hurricane.
Yeah,
Hurricane Kiko.
Kiko is the big one right now in the eastern Pacific, still a major hurricane, category 3, moving west-northwest, and you'll notice who is in the path, Hawaii. Been a very difficult forecast by the National Hurricane Center. Where is the storm going to track? Is it going to track a little bit closer to some of the islands? Is it going to be tracking a little bit to the north? Some computer models and ensembles have this getting a little bit too close to home. Some have it steering completely away. So let's see what the National Hurricane Center has to say, right? They're the experts with the hurricane forecast, and they're saying just north. Still, though, by Monday, tomorrow morning, category 2 strength.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, category 1. But some of the islands, those northern islands of Hawaii, are just in the outside of that cone, which means anywhere in the cone is where the center of the storm can go. So we're still talking about some impacts here. Life-threatening flash flooding, storm surge, heavy rain, and some gusty winds.
And how often do they update this?
Yeah, great question. So every few hours, we'll see a new cone come out. They're looking at the data. The hurricane hunters are flying through, gathering the data of what's going on inside the storm itself. We have also some instrumentation in the water that's picking up on the waves, the winds, the rain. Also using some drones too. There's been drones that people will use closer to the surface of the water itself to pick up on some additional variables in this forecast. We're putting everything together. We look at the computer models, the data. Thankfully, this is trending north. I believe 2 days ago, there was some concern that this would make a direct impact
that's what I remember
to Hawaii.
hearing, that it was going to be directly
Yeah.
impacting them. Yeah.
But, even still tropical storm strength, you're flying out to Honolulu, you're flying out to the Big Island, could be talking about maybe some unsettled, not so perfect beach weather.
Could put a damp in a vacation.
Yeah. Oh
That's
my
what I
gosh.
would say.
Imagine, right? It looks like, though, through Thursday and next weekend, this is not going to be a problem. So flying in Monday, Tuesday, you're going to be there till Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe have some good indoor plans, unless you're in maybe the most southernmost island that could be seeing some breaks of sunshine throughout the day. Things look overall fairly soggy, and watching that state very closely in case we see some wobbles in the track, which of course can happen.
Yes, and we've seen it happen already this hurricane season, how quickly the track changes of that hurricane. And again, it's not the end of hurricane season, so we can still be seeing this, right?
Yeah, September 10th is the peak hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. Nothing right now, which is just a absolute gem to have. No projected storms, no areas we're watching, no thunderstorms that could create something tropical. The next name is Gabrielle. So still several more weeks till mid-October is when that peak in general bulk season is.
And do you think we would see any rain from this specific hurricane?
No, I mean, Hawaii's the only big one, only state that's going to get any sort of moisture impacts from this. Lorena, for Texas, we've had some of the moisture there these past few days. But overall, a good deep breath of fresh air and relief in between the tropics, and no big severe weather outbreaks, besides maybe just a few storms in the plains. So things are overall very comfortable. Travel shouldn't really be a big issue for about 99% of us.
Tommy, I hear you talk about this specific name of storm a lot, and some of our viewers have also been questioning what you mean by it. And what I'm talking about is the invest in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Invest means investigation. It means that this area, this group of thunderstorms, has the possibility of becoming tropical depression, then tropical storm. So you'll fly through with the hurricane hunters. You'll look at the data of what's going on in the storm itself. Does it have circulation? Is it gusty? Does it have the sustained winds? If that investigation of a storm becomes something tropical, then it will get upgraded, eventually named. So it's just a potential impact of what could come.
And would you say that all hurricanes have to go through that invest?
Yes, yeah.
process?
So it all starts with the invest. Sometimes things will be under investigation for multiple days. There was, I don't have a graphic for it, but there was this area we were watching for several days this past week in the Atlantic. We had a 90% chance by the National Hurricane Center it was going to become Gabrielle, and then it dropped just like that all the way back down to zero. And it was under investigation for almost a week. Or it can be like a day. Aaron, for example, wasn't in investigation very long. Aaron hit open waters, became a Cat 5 very quickly. So it just depends on the type of storm.
Wow. So if you hear the word invest or anything like that, it's a storm that is being tracked and investigated.
Yeah, and I worked with the National Weather Service in Houston on a Q&A. We talked about what that means. So that's one of the things you can find on KXAN.com. Just under my name, you can click on the blogs that I've put out in Q&As and things like that. Every other meteorologist, too, has had some tropical knowledge in this field. It's good there's nothing to track besides Kiko. Obviously, a big thing for the United States here, considering Hawaii's out there. But besides that, things overall are trending quieter.
Yes. And again, we're streaming this live on Sunday. So if you're watching now, Tommy, can you give us a brief look at what we can expect for the rest of this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So, pretty much from a storm perspective, it's just going to be today. So here's the Storm Prediction Center into tomorrow. Still highlighting those same few states. If you're flying to the places with the light green and you're traveling, not a big issue, although a few isolated discrete thunderstorms could create maybe a delay at the airport. Driving, really not a problem. If you have a beach vacation in Florida this week, maybe not your best travel forecast that I'm giving you, but through the next week, it's a very manageable, tolerable, maybe final summer vacation that you may be having before fall really ramps up. Temperature-wise, seasonable, maybe a few cooler bursts, especially here in Texas where we're dealing with those 80s. But across the board, no big records being broken at this time. This is just going to be a pretty tolerable first enter and second week of September.
And for us here locally in Austin?
Yeah. Well, not going to reel the full 7 day for you. You'll have to tune in at 5 o'clock on KXAN. But a lot of sunshine this work week. 80s, perfect weather. College football, in full swing. Have a few good games coming up this next weekend. So both NFL and college. So I'm excited for it. This is my favorite time of year. I'm not sure about you, Esme, but it doesn't really get better than this.
No, it doesn't. This is my favorite time of year as well. Rich and I this morning were talking about how we prefer the word autumn over fall because it sounds better. What do you think?
I don't know. Fall has a good feel to it. Both, I don't mind too much. It just means some cooler temperatures. So that's a win for me.
Yeah. We do have that article that you published just right now, actually, on our website. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So scrolling through, we have a few graphics from what we talked about in case I maybe jumped the gun or you missed it and you're like, hey, what does this mean? You can see that visually there for you. Also, just a little write-up about Kiko at the bottom. Florida, heavy rainfall and flooding that could be a factor. And of course, KXAN.com/tropical tracker will also have additional hurricane stuff that's geared more toward the Atlantic basin. That includes the Gulf. We don't do too much updates on the Pacific, but we'll mention it tonight in my full forecast, 9 at CW and 10 o'clock as well on KXAN.
Yes, so aside from you being here on KXAN Plus, you're also on air. So if anyone is interested in getting that 7-day forecast that we didn't get here, that'll be with Tommy at 5, right?
Yep, 5 o'clock coming up. Until then, we're just going to be keeping an eye on the radar. Obviously, we're just, having a few showers and storms that have just been catching our attention. Thankfully, at this time, we're not seeing any sort of big flash flooding, but that cold front, right, is the big story. We'll still bring a little bit more rainfall into your Monday. I think we'll be drying out, but maybe not down toward the valley.
Well, thank you for joining me, Tommy. For anyone who is interested in watching our Tommy's Travel Forecast or any other KXAN Plus exclusive show, where can they watch that?
Yeah, so every Sunday we try. Additionally, we'll have a little bit more of the online article you can read throughout the week. And then I'll have, Wednesdays, maybe Fridays, additional content with blogs, Q&As, and things like that. So we're always staying busy here content-wise, the meteorologist at KXAN.
And all can be streamed completely for free on our KXAN Plus app on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and now Samsung TV.
Now Samsung, in between the football games, maybe switch over to there. My Patriots are losing right now. We'll have to see if they can pull it off. It doesn't look too good at the moment.
Well, it's not the end of the game. So
not the end of the game.
We're still rooting for them. Well, thank you so much, Tommy, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks. Have a great rest of your day.